Good evening. My name is Andrew Harris, and I am a councilman for Ward 1 on the Florissant City Council. And we just finished up our council meeting for October 13th, 2025. And so I'm going to give you council action tonight, where we summarize the meeting that we just had. This was quite a long meeting tonight, so I will do my best to keep this short. Running through the agenda here, we had a special presentation for an organization called JADASA, and they are newly planted in the city of Florissant at a location, and they serve women and children who are victims of domestic violence. And so tonight, the mayor honored them with a proclamation, and all the council members, we wore our purple this evening because that's the color of domestic violence recognition, but also the agency, that's their color too. So they did have a soft opening recently and invited many members of the community into their place. They've been actually serving the community for like 23 years, but now they're in the city of Florissant, so we're excited about that. We had many citizens this evening that voiced concern over a new development on St. Catherine Street. So I'm not going to go into all of it, but just know that there's a lot of concern, but the mayor did say that really all we have now, the city doesn't have a lot of information. This hasn't been brought to the Planning and Zoning Commission. It hasn't been brought to the city. So there's no official, any kind of procedures proceedings at the city at this time, but I do know that the developer that was planning this has heard concerns, and so they are hosting a meeting this Thursday at St. Rose, which is the site of the proposed, not even proposed yet, but the development that they are seeking interest in. So this Thursday, I believe it's from 6 to 8. Don't quote me on that. But so everyone in the public's welcome this Thursday. That would be October the 16th evening, I think from 6 to 8. And the developer will be there to talk about their project that they are interested in and also answer questions. We had 4 or 5 public hearings tonight, and here they are. The first public hearing was a public hearing on the annual budget, which begins December 1st. Our Director of Finance, Sam Johnson, was here, and he did just a quick summary of the budget. If you want to see it at length, it's many, many pages, and it is in our agenda. You can find it on our council page. We will have a work session, the council will, on Saturday, October 25th. There will be a public announcement of that, but usually it starts at 8 a.m. So look for those details, but right now it's on my calendar for October 25th at 8 a.m. The next public hearing was for a project that we have heard about a couple other times at the meeting. This is at the corner of Lindbergh and North Jefferson Street. There is a gas station there currently that has mainly just gas pumps and a small sort of kiosk there at that. But the owner of that station is planning to put in a full store, knock everything down except for the underneath tanks, and they want to do more like a convenience store setup and rebuild that whole area. So tonight it was about the construction materials for that. They were proposing certain materials for that construction. So we did hear that. The next public hearing was on Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A was here tonight, and they were making updates to their property. They wanted to widen the drive-through lane. They are going to install a walkout drive-up window. So really they're calling it a drive-through door. And this is something that they've been doing apparently the last 2 or 3 years at all the new locations. And so they're coming back to Florissant and they want to update that as well. let's see, there's updates to the staging area, and therefore they have to move the trash enclosure, and therefore they have to move the light. And also they will have less spots right there next to Chick-fil-A for parking. But the good news is that they are going to have a reciprocal parking agreement with the next door neighbors there. So there's going to be plenty of parking still at Chick-fil-A. They're going to have to take out some landscaping, but they're also going to add new landscaping. The next public hearing was a proposal for a new chain restaurant. I believe it's called Charlie's Steak and Wings. I've seen these at some of the mall food courts for a long time, actually. And the gentleman that was here that's proposing this, he said that this chain now is expanding out of the food courts and into freestanding restaurants. And the location of this would be at the former Firehouse Subs on Lindbergh. The actual address is 2312 North Highway 67. Another public hearing tonight was for a new, quote-unquote, the technical permit would be for a tavern. But the petitioner who was here, Ms. Melton, she wants to open up a martini lounge, and this would be at 1833 Dunn Road, and she would like it to be a sophisticated space. She'll not be serving food there. It won't be a nightclub. There was a number of questions there about some of the details that we just want to make sure that we're on the same page with what it will be and not be. Interestingly, Miss Melton is a certified instructor for an organization called TIPS, T-I-P-S, and it teaches bartenders how to do that safely for their patrons. And Councilman Egan asked her a little bit more about this, and Councilman Egan said he's aware of this program. He said it's a good program. It's actually a 5-hour course. So I believe she teaches this actually to other bartenders, but she plans to make sure that her bartenders, should she be approved, will have this training as well. Let's see, another public hearing was, this was for Walmart. Walmart currently has a Subway restaurant in the store there, and it turns out the staff, because they're doing a great job going through and making sure everything is housekeeping with all the ordinances, that it's all good, and they found that Subway was not actually mentioned in the previous ordinance. So Mr. Rowling was back here on behalf of Walmart so that we could add Subway to show that it's a restaurant actually inside of Walmart. So this is a housekeeping item that was brought to Walmart's attention by our staff. So we did hear that this evening. Subway will continue to operate inside of Walmart and will not need another special use permit. Under old business, we had looks like 3 ordinances for second reading. We had the mayor, the mayor was authorized to enter into a maintenance agreement with Missouri American Water Company. This has to do with the water ground storage tank facility at Tower Court Park. There was also an ordinance for the mayor to be authorized to enter into agreement with Stiefel Nicholas and Company. This is related to financial advisory services for our obligation bonds. And finally, the last second reading, this was an ordinance left over from the last meeting about various amendments to the general fund and the park improvement fund. We're getting towards the end of this budget year 2025, so when we get to the end of that, unless all things are perfect, there's some things that have to be moved around in the budget. So that's what's going on there. Under new business, There were no board appointments this evening. The council and the mayor, we didn't have any appointments. You may be familiar with Old Town Automotive, which is located 1104 North Jefferson. Due to outstanding circumstances, the owner of that is needing to transfer the ownership to Mr. Gossage, who's currently the service manager. Mr. Gossage plans to continue to run the Old Town Motors business, as is, all the same employees. And so the only change that he plans to make was he wanted to be open an hour earlier and stay open an hour later. And as far as being open later till 6 p.m., he really wants to focus on the cleanliness of the shop and giving the employees the chance to do tidying up at the end of the day. So if you are a customer at Old Town Motors, that's good news for you. They will stay in business. There was an application for a transfer of permit from Crystal Creek Health Rehabilitation to Willow Creek Wellness and Rehabilitation for the nursing home at 250 South New Florissant Road. Again, this is just a change of ownership of that facility. Let's see, other things I'd like to mention here. There was an ordinance. Okay, we did pass the Old Town. This is quite an extensive agenda here. Another one that we passed this evening was there are some properties at 6 through 12 Bruce Drive. This is right off of Lindbergh, south of Deerbergs there, on the same side as Deerbergs. And there's a set of properties there that are prone to flooding right there on Bruce Drive. And the FEMA program has funding through the HMPG program. And the City of Florissant is able to acquire that funding, and what the city would like to do is acquire those structures located in Bruce Drive because of all the flooding that's gone on there repeatedly, and with the purpose of removing future risk to human life and avoid future costs to restore the properties after flooding over and over again. The owners of each of these structures or properties have agreed that they would like to sell their respective properties to the city through this funding, so that the city intends to demolish the structures there, so that this won't be a risk to person safety or incurred cost over and over again. So we're just going to demolish that and avoid future problems there. Let's see. There was an appropriation. This is another end of the year 2025 budget issue. There was money that was not allocated in the public safety fund in the amount of $20,800, and we transferred this to the security equipment and maintenance fund to purchase equipment and upgrades, and notably to establish a police substation at the Nature Lodge at Sunset Park. So that is another place, a substation for our police department to have there. I would imagine, so they can do their paperwork, they can maybe be closer to this other side of the city here with all the traffic and everything. I could see how that would be helpful there. Let's see. Another budget end of the year budget issue was the city had received $13,500 from the sale of used vehicles in the Parks Department. So when the city's done with vehicles, we try to sell those vehicles and recoup the funds, and then those can be placed towards other amenities or needs. So what they've decided to do with that funding is to pay for the installation of epoxy flooring in the public restrooms at St. Ferdinand Park. I believe those are new facilities at St. Ferdinand Park, and so the finishing of it would just be to add the new flooring to that, so that'll be nice. And that's it. That's the end. So the mayor did mention the Boo Bash coming up, if you're familiar with that. That's happening again this year. There's a haunted house coming up at the fire department. I believe it was October 24th and 25th. Again, that's another annual thing. November 9th is the Veterans Day Parade and also honoring the Veteran of the Year. I believe that's a Sunday afternoon. It's from, starts up near the library, the Florissant Public Library, the St. Louis County Florissant Branch Library, and it ends at the VFW Hall where usually there's a ceremony there. It's very nice. And then finally the mayor announced that the Miracle on St. Francis Street is happening again, I believe November 29th at 1 p.m. And this is kind of a fun event where Santa Claus comes in a parade. There's a golf cart parade. And last year it snowed, so it was pretty amazing scene there. So be there, one of our favorite events of the year. Everyone noted they had a great time at the Fall Festival, and maybe you're one of the thousands of people that were there. Great time. Florissant comes out for that. It was a great weather. A lot of vendors, a lot of entertainment, food. I didn't hear anything bad about it. It was a really good time. So that's it for this evening. Thanks for sticking with me on this council action, and I hope you all have a good couple of weeks here before our next meeting. Have a good night.